Again, welcome to RealNex's presentation and our demo today on how our tool set can work more effectively for the investment sales broker. We do offer multiple webinars throughout the week based on certain types of transactions, so either tenant rep, owner rep, landlord rep, and then finally investment sales. So we're going to kind of cover all aspects of investments today. And again, we do have a new mobile app that is available out for you guys to download on both Apple and Android. So I'd encourage you guys to do that, as well as go sign up for a free 30-day trial. And you can use those two things in conjunction. So you sign up for that trial and you want to go ahead and download the app, you can use both those things together while doing that trial. So with that, let's just go ahead and kind of dive right in here today. Give you guys the backstory on RealNex. RealNex is actually the aggregation of a couple different market-leading solutions that help streamline your process. Okay, there's a whole bunch of different things that you all need to do to facilitate a transaction. You need to find buyers, you need to find listings, you need to be able to go ahead and perform financial analysis, right? Looking at those discounted cash flows and APODs and stuff, as well as going through and creating that marketing material, everything from an OM to a single page tear sheet. And then you have to go out and actively market that stuff, right? Either through email marketing or through, just putting your listings out there and stuff. And so there's a bunch of different things, and the thing is, none of those things kind of talk to each other. So you keep entering in that same data over and over and over and over and over again. And so that's kind of how RealNex was formed, was the idea that, why don't we create a more complete tool set for the broker so we can increase your guys' efficiency and reduce that duplication of effort, giving you all more time, okay? More time selling, less time doing data entry, okay? So let's just go ahead and dive right into the program here. Just so you guys know, there is a little chat feature within here over on the left-hand side, or I'm sorry, on the right-hand side probably of your screen. You can type in your messages in there if you guys have questions or anything like that as we're going through this. I'll pause periodically, try and get caught up on those, but we will be moving kind of quickly through here. Today is designed to be just kind of like a 30,000-foot look at everything RealNex has to offer. And then you guys are more welcome to go out and hit that trial up and download that stuff and get a feel for it, okay? So RealNex is actually divided into basically three components. Okay, we have our core section, which has two pieces to it. One is our CRM and one's our transaction manager. Today we're really going to be focused on the CRM. Transaction manager is designed more for like the leasing transactions and stuff. So we're really going to focus on the CRM for you guys today. We also have our market edge component, which consists of investment analysis, lease analysis, and our deal room. And then finally we have marketplace, which is where you can go ahead and put your listings out there as well as do some email marketing, okay? And so we're going to kind of work our way through that. And the idea is here we're going to kind of work you guys through a typical day in the life of a transaction, okay? So the biggest part, or the central part of your day-to-day business should be your CRM, okay? That's why it's part of our core program here. The CRM here is designed to just kind of keep track of everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. Every contact, every property, every project, every comp that you have, you can put into our database here. Okay, we are industry specific. Okay, we're designed 100% from the ground up for commercial real estate. Okay, there's a lot of CRMs out there, and a lot of them have a lot of neat little tools and widgets and stuff, but very few of them are designed for commercial real estate. And of those few, not too many even have an app or anything that's been around as long as we have. We actually acquired a company called REA. They were the kind of like the standard for commercial real estate CRM solutions. They've been around for about 35 years. Okay, and again, it was designed from the ground up, so it wasn't like a bolt-on to another program to try and make it work for commercial. This is 100% from day one, commercial driven. So what you can see is we have different components or different sections to our database here. We've got my calendar, we've got contacts, projects, companies, properties, spaces, and then our comps. Okay, so each of these kind of houses different bits of information. Okay, then what we have the unique ability to do with our platform is we have what we call like a relationship database. Okay, so this is essentially where I can come back in and I can tie any part of these components here to any other record in my database. Okay, so a good example for you all is I might want to tie a contact to a company. Then I might want to tie that company as the owner of a property. And then we've acquired that listing now, so I'm going to go ahead and create a project for that, because now I'm going to be tracking my pipeline, and I can go ahead and create that project for that property. And I can see everyone who's involved in that transaction, create those relationships and links. And the idea, again, is to save that time, right? Start relating the things back to each other so I don't have to go and dig for the information I want. I can just go click on the appropriate record, bring up anything I need. Okay, so let's drop into our database here, guys. So I'm going to start with contacts for you all because, I mean, that's really probably where the rubber meets the road for the vast majority of your guys' transaction, right? It's all going to start and end with your contacts, right? Either going out there prospecting, looking for new contacts or clients, right, for listings and stuff like that, as well as looking for buyers, right, or looking for properties, okay? So all that stuff is really going to start with a contact, okay? And so adding new information into our database is very, very easy. All you have to do is look for an add new option here. We have it on pretty much every page because you're always going to be able to come here and edit your information, okay? So then it's just basically filling in the appropriate line items. Everything does not need to be filled in order to save a record. You can start with just a partial name if you want, check a couple boxes, or fill in every single item. It's up to you. It's your database. So obviously I'm a little partial to it, so I think that you should obviously more is better, right? But it's completely up to you how much content you want to put in there. Okay, so we add our contacts to our database, and this is kind of comes back to the power of our solution here, is that what you have the ability to do is you can come in here and you can create profiles for everything that you do within here. And the reason you want to do that is it's all about scalability. Okay, so how do I search a database of 10,000 people and get it to a manageable number for potential leads for a project that I'm on? Okay, well, what we do is here you can see we kind of work left to right through our tabs here. Start on our profile side, and basically who is he, who does he work for, what's his title, and how do we get a hold of him. That's your basic stuff. Every CRM out there is going to provide you that information. Okay, but what's unique about our platform is this thing here. So how do they relate to your business, and how are they going to help you make money? Okay, so are they an investor? Are they a tenant? Are they an agent? Are they a vendor? Or maybe they're just a personal contact. Okay, for everyone here, hopefully most of your contacts are going to be investors, right? So we're going to come in over and say, well, what type of investor are they? Are they a broker, a buyer, a seller? What are they interested in? Okay, we can even break it down by specific property types. Okay, so maybe all you guys do is office, right? Or maybe all this person's interested in office. Well, we all know that there's subcategories of that, right? So not all office is created equal, right? So what we have the ability to do is I can come over here and the program comes out of the box ready to go with some preset fields. Okay, so we can say he's interested in Class A, Class B, Class C. Maybe he does government buildings. Maybe he does medical buildings, right? Maybe he only does single tenant, triple net lease. Whatever his particular flavor is, you can choose that. If we don't have what you're looking for, again, look, I've got that add new value. You can create your own customizations within here if you need to as well. Okay. But it doesn't end there. I then have the ability to go say, well, what kind of size requirements is he looking for? So in office, I'm typically running off of square footage, right? So this guy's looking for 40,000 to 100,000 square feet. Okay. Can even go so far as to come down here and say, what is his minimum price, maximum price, right? What was the last thing he bought? What areas is he looking for? What's his holding period? So we've got a whole bunch of information in here, and you might be asking yourselves, like, well, what do I need all that for? Again, it comes back to scalability. We want to make you guys work more efficiently. Okay, so if you do a little bit more work up front and develop an extensive profile on here, I can help you scale that database of 10,000 people very quickly. Okay, so if you guys have a new opportunity, let's say you have a new office listing that's out there, and I want to go search everyone in my database who could be a potential buyer for that property. If you've done your due diligence on the front end, I can go in here and create any kind of search that I want. Let me go find all of my investors interested in medical office of 40 to 100,000 square feet, have $3 million to spend, haven't bought anything in the last 18 months, and are looking in this particular area. Okay, so I guarantee you that 10,000 people in your database, not all 10,000 are going to meet that criteria, right? Do your legwork on the front end and scale that down to a more manageable number. Now you've got like a hot list that you can go after, and these are my top 50, top 100 prospects that we're going to go to. That's a lot better than just kind of carpet bombing and blasting everyone out there, 10,000 people and saying, hey, are you interested, right? It's a much more effective tool, okay? Then what we do is to kind of work our way through, and we want to keep track of all of our interactions, okay? So I'm going to hop around between these tabs. The big one I want you guys to pay attention to is history, okay? You're going to probably be using this one the most out of any tab within your records here. Okay, history is our version of kind of notes. A lot of CRMs will use notes out there, but that's just kind of like a catch-all open source field where you can just type in whatever you want. Our version is history, and this is, again, comes back to scalability and searchability. All right, by creating a history, and I go click on Add New here, I'm going to fill in specific data sets. Okay, I'm going to come in here and create, well, what was the subject of our interaction today? Okay, it was a phone call, it was a meeting, it was a follow-up email, whatever the case is, you can do that. So what was the subject of it? Then what type of event? Then we can also go in here and start linking this interaction to other records in our database. This is huge because what it allows me to do is make one note one time and have it linked to multiple records. So if I talk to John Doe at ABC Company, we're running 1234 Main Street. Okay, what I want to do is I want to make sure that note shows up underneath John Doe, his company, as well as that property. So what I can come over here, I've linked to, click on this, and link your note to any other associated record. This is really good when you start looking at like shared databases or network solutions where you have 5, 10, 15, 100 people all sharing a singular database. So if I go in and I make my note underneath John Doe, then my partner across the hall goes and talks to John Doe next week, but he looks up underneath John Doe's company. He doesn't see my note. He's not going to know where we're at. Okay, so by doing that and creating that link from that one note to multiple records, you're going to save yourselves a ton of grief. Okay, so then what we do is just go ahead, type in our notes over here, and hit save. It becomes part of our history. Okay, well, by putting in all those data fields, and again, it comes about to searching for that particular information. Let me go look for all of my to-do items. Let me go look at all my emails. Let me go look at all my action items, emails, follow-ups, phone calls, whatever I want. I could sort by anything that I need to. I can also sort by date, subject, project, or even I could sort by notes. Okay. So the rule here on this is that history is anything that's happened in the past. Okay. When you want to create those follow-up reminders, those ticklers, to-do lists, whatever you want to call them, we do that underneath our events tab. And it works exactly the same as history. We just added a couple more fields, but it's the same format, right? So I come in over here, click on Add New. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and fill that stuff. What was the subject of interaction? We're calling regarding a potential lead, right? Was it a phone call, an email, etc.? Okay. Then what you do is you can set a priority level for that, right? If it's going to a closing, you're probably going to have that at a higher level. If you're, calling someone to wish them a happy birthday, might be a little bit lower level. It's your discretion how you want to rate these, but we have a couple different options. You can also set an alarm for that, just like you would on your calendar, right? I want to get reminded 30 minutes before that event occurs, so I don't forget about it. Okay. Then what we do is just choose when that future event or interaction needs to happen. Just choose that future date. Then make your notes so you remember what you're talking about. And then again, link it back to anything else in my database and hit save. Okay, so we worked on both sides, right? Current interactions that we had or anything that's happened in the past, then create those reminders and follow-ups. Okay, so one of the cool things that we've got is we do have an integration with Gmail as well as Outlook. So what that's going to do is going to be a big time saver for you guys on that. So instead of manually entering or cutting and pasting those emails and those calendar events, what you can actually do is synchronize either your Gmail or your Outlook directly to our program here. Okay, and that's going to do a couple of things. It's a big time saver. So one, I can bring in over all your contacts. Okay, so we synchronize like your Outlook, for example. It'll bring in all of your Outlook contacts, their email addresses over, and also synchronize your calendar. Okay, so anytime I go and create an event with an associated record in here, it'll block that time out on my Outlook calendar for me. Okay, and then the other option too is that whenever I send or receive an email from an associated email address. So you can see I've got info@corinthiantitle.com here for Antonio. Well, if I was to send him an email from my Outlook right now, it's going to know that this belongs to Antonio, and we're going to automatically grab that email for you and attach it to your history record. That's huge because if you think about it, I would say, what you got to say, 60, 70% of our communication now actually is done via email, right? We have a phone call, a meeting, or whatever it is, and that's a whole string of emails keeping people up to date. Well, if you synchronize those things together, it's going to be a big deal for you, right? So then what we have here is we got a couple other things, okay? We got projects, leads, links, and attachments, okay? Projects is basically any potential revenue generated activity you're going to have. You want to create a project for it. Okay, so my kind of words of wisdom for you all is if it puts money in your pockets, create a project for you. Pockets and projects. Okay, so what I have the ability to do is I can link any associated transaction or project that we're working on to another record. So in this case, I've linked these 5 different records here back to Antonio. He's my client. Okay, he's a good client of ours. So then what we could do is I can go ahead and say, okay, well, this is where we're at on each one of his projects, but they're all related back to him. It helps me navigate through my database. Okay. The other side of that would be if he was a lead for a potential project. So he's not necessarily the client, but he's expressed interest in one of my opportunities or projects out there. I can attach him as a lead. Okay. And then one of the other things over here is this links tab. I absolutely love this. It's an underutilized tool within our platform because I think it's just people don't really understand how powerful it is. what this allows you to do is that you can come in here and you can create any kind of relationship between two records. So you can link a contact to a contact to a property to a property, a project to another project. It does not matter. It's your database. Do whatever you want. So if I want to create that relationship, I come on over here, click on Add New. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it from Antonio, the contact. I can put in my own custom description here. Okay. Then I can also link it to any other record in my database, and then put a custom description for that as well. So much of real estate revolves around those relationships. Sometimes it's not what we know, it's who we know or how we know them that can help you get that deal done. So what you could do is create those relationships. Okay, so you can see I've got Antonio linked to John here, and I just made a quick description saying it's John's brother-in-law. Okay, I've linked him to other properties as tenants, as an owner, as a seller, or whatever the case may be. I can go put it in there, and if I want to pull up that record, here's the beauty of having that relationship-driven database. I want to go pull up John's record. That's right, it's John. So we go click on that. Guess what it does? It actually pulls up John's record for me right here in the database. I didn't have to go search for anything. I didn't have to type in his name or figure out a spelling or anything like that. Just click on that one link, and it redirects me to the other part of my database. Okay, and now we have quite a few people on here today, so there's a little bit of lag when I'm doing these screen shares. The program is actually much faster than this, just so you guys know. But because we are screen sharing and we have, I think we're at what, 15 people right now. We have a lot of people on here, so there's a lot of bandwidth getting up. So I can see I can pull up that associated record. I can look at everything I need to know about John. Right, when I'm done with John, simply close it out at the top here, and I'm back at Antonio's record. Okay. So not only is this a contact database, it's also a property database. Okay, so I could just hop on over to the property section of our database here, and it works the exact same way. You guys got to understand the workflow now, so we're just going to kind of work through a property real quick. Okay, works the same way. Okay, so we go in here. If we want to add a new property, click on Add New. All right, if I found a property that I want to look at, just go click on it, and it brings up everything. We're going to follow that same workflow that we went, like left to right, you know, high level stuff, develop that profile on that property, and get into the details as we kind of work our way through here. So this first tab is what are the primary contacts involved in that property, right? You can see I've got my name, address, etc. here, but depending on the type of property, you might have a site contact. More likely that's for like a property management company, right? Also have the owner here, and it could be a company or an individual. And then depending on the type of transaction that you guys are doing, there could be another agent involved, right? So if you guys are doing like a 1031, for example, I might want to go ahead and list that listing agent in here and tie directly to that property. And again, these are all links. You see how it becomes like a thumbnail when I click on that? It'll take me back to their record, okay? It could also take me back to that company as well, okay? Then we could go on over to our detail tab. Okay, and this is where we're going to develop more extensive profile, more information about that property. We've got a ton of information you could put in here. Don't feel like you have to fill it all in, right? But fill out what's important to you. Building class, construction type, transaction dates, parking spaces, units, acres, market, submarket, whatever you want. If you guys want to get into, you know, traffic counts and signage and utility providers, we've got it all in there. Feel free to fill it in. Okay, and again, that's all searchable criteria as well. So if I wanted to scale my database for my property section, I can do that as well. Okay, so depending on the type of property, you have the ability to come in here and keep track of your units. Okay, so typically it's going to be like on a multifamily or maybe a self-storage. You'll have your units in here and you create like a unit mix if you need to. But in this example, I've actually got an office park. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go ahead and start tying tenants to spaces. Okay, so what I could do within here is you can see I've got all of my suite numbers here. I've got all of my tenants. Then I can look at like their floor plate, lease start date, end date, you know, lease type, etc. I can keep track of all of that. All right. And again, relationship-driven database. So if I went and clicked on this tenant's name, it would actually pull up that record. So in this case, it's a company. So I click on that, it's going to bring up that company record for me. Okay. And company record works just like a contact record pretty much. So you can see I've got my high-level stuff on the property. If I go click on the contacts, who are the contacts associated with that particular company? Does this company currently own any properties, or are they currently leasing any spaces? So you can see they're actually leasing 2 spaces within here, okay? So then what we could do, circling back to that, I can also go ahead and if you guys ever wanted to, you can keep track of specific leases within a property as well. So we can actually click on that suite number, bring up the spaces section of my database now, right? And then I can look at everything I need to know about that, right? Let me go look at that TI that increases the options. Don't imagine a lot of you guys are doing that unless you're full service and stuff like that, but that is an option for you guys right over here, okay? So then finally what we'll do is I'm going to show you projects, okay? Again, pockets of projects. This is you keeping track of your paycheck, keeping track of that pipeline, okay? So we come on over here. These are all my different projects, all right? We come in, choose any project that you want, and what we're going to do is same idea, create that profile, right? So I've got 300 Hempstead Turnpike here. It is a for sale property. It's a listing, all right? When did it become a project for us? What's my estimated close date? What's the list price for it, right? I can link it back to a property in my database. What's that listing? Who's our client in this case, all right? If I want to keep track of those commissions, we can click on that over here. Keep track of my commissions. I can even add additional participants into that so we can chop that commission up however we need to. And then everything else is fairly much the same, right? Keep track of that history. What do we talk about regarding this particular project, right? Who do we talk to? When do we talk to them? What are my follow-up items? That goes underneath events, okay? What's unique about this is we have this leads tab, and this is where you keep track of any kind of qualified lead, right? So in this case, because it's a listing, all of my leads should be companies or buyers looking to acquire that property, right? So I might have several different people involved, and they all are going to progress at different rates, right? This person has looked at the property. This person has submitted an LOI. This person just looked at a flyer, okay? So what you can do is you can add leads in there as you see fit, and then what we have the ability to do is keep track of, the status of that particular lead, who the lead is, the size maybe that they're looking for, as well as make notes on each individual lead here as well. Okay. We also have links and attachments. Every record in here, you have the ability to upload attachments. You're probably going to be using this a lot on projects and properties, I imagine. Okay, so you guys are probably already saving your documents, like on your C drive on your computer, or maybe you're saving it somewhere in the cloud. Okay, well, you can do the same thing here. Why not just centralize it all, guys, and keep it in one place? So any document regarding that project, right? Maybe you got some environmentals or some inspections or appraisals or something like that. Or if you're at the property level, maybe you want to go look at the escrow information or whatever you want. Attach any attachment, your PDFs, your JPEGs, your Excel files, etc. Make those attachments, attach them directly to the property. It's all centralized now. Don't have to go hunt for it. Okay. Last thing I'm going to show you underneath the projects is this deal room option here. We actually started integrating some of our solutions together. Okay, so this deal room option is pretty cool because what it allows you guys to do is it's online file sharing. Think of it like Dropbox on steroids. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Dropbox. So the way this works is you can go ahead and create a unique deal room or secure online vault associated with every transaction that you're working on. Okay, but then what you can do is you can invite people into that, and you can restrict access based on their permission settings. So this is actually going to allow you to upload all of your documents into a one secure online vault, and then you can restrict access. Okay, so you can see I've got all my different participants here. I'm going to be able to track when they logged in, the documents they viewed, when they viewed them, how many times they viewed them, etc. It's all right here. But what's unique about this, if I actually go into like the admin side, which you guys will probably be using quite a bit, is I can actually look at every single transaction or deal room that I have, and they're all unique. So you actually have a registration link that you can send out to people, okay? So CA stands for Confidentiality Agreement. So what I suggest all of our users do is take this link and include it on all of your marketing material, any kind of email blast, any listing that you put out there. This is a great way to grow your database, guys. So you can obviously go ahead and shorten this URL through like Google or a couple others, or just make it a hyperlink, right? Click here, they click on the word here, and it redirects them, okay? So what you guys actually have the ability to do is you can come in over here and include that. So anyone who hasn't been to your deal room before would need to come and register. Well, I want you guys to look at what they need to provide to you just to get into your deal room. So they're going to come in here and they're going to fill out their email address, first name, last name, phone number, company. Then they identify themselves as a broker or an investor. What that's going to do is that's going to allow them to self-identify, and it also tells the program which confidentiality agreement to produce. Okay, so we don't actually make these for you. You guys need to have your own CA and need to save it as a PDF, and then you attach it to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys real quick what it looks like. All right. So it's going to take me to my CA page. Okay, so before they can even get into that particular deal room, they're going to have to come over here hit I accept the terms and conditions, and then execute, and that's how they're going to get into this, okay? So they can't get into it otherwise. Now, normally I don't have a CA uploaded to this one. This would be where they could view the document. They could download a copy of it, okay? But I haven't uploaded one to this because it's just a sample database. You come over here, hit execute, they're into your database. But the cool thing about this is when they come in here, you get to choose what they get to see. So you're going to upload your documents into this deal room. All right, and you're going to name them. Okay, I've got floor plans, I got demographics, and then you choose a security level for that document. So you guys look, I've got basic to maximum. So I have 7 different levels of security. So this is how we restrict access to certain documents. Okay, so when people self-register, it automatically defaults to basic. Then it's up to you to qualify those individuals and increase their authority level as you see fit. So what we can do is we can come over to each participant, and here's everyone that's in my deal room here, and I can see what their security levels are. If I need to change it, so if I go over to here to myself, I go click on this, and I say, you know, I need to increase their authority level, just increase it to where it needs to match. Okay? So the way it works is if you're a third level participant, you see basic, second, third level documents, but nothing above it. Okay? So if I'm maximum, it means I get to see everything. So this is a great feature for you guys because you don't have to worry about sending out a gazillion Dropbox links anymore, one for each client, and then share information separately and constantly be uploading. Just put it in there once, centralize it, and then just all you have to do is come in here and increase their authority level. The other great deal with this is that you have the ability to come in here and track this information. So what I can actually do is I could go in at a participant level and see every single participant, and I could choose who they are. And then I could see the date and time they logged into the program. I can look at the documents that they viewed as well. Okay? And it's all exportable. So feel free to go ahead and put it into an Excel spreadsheet and do whatever you want to do with that. Okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause right there regarding our CRM portion, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the marketing aspect, the analysis and marketing. Okay? So I'm going to see if anyone has any questions. Let me catch up. I did see a couple things in here. Does it also sync with Microsoft Outlook Exchange clients? I believe it does. We can connect with your Outlook, like on the online version of Outlook, the Outlook server. You can do that. Absolutely. And let's see, will we be talking about marketing or just the CRM? No, Evan, we are going to get going into the marketing aspect of this very quickly. So I don't see any other questions. Feel free to type them in as we go along, but we're going to just keep this going, okay, guys? So one of the things I want to show you real quick is we started integrating these things together. So you can see I'm at a property level now, right? So if I have that property in my CRM and I'm ready to go perform that financial analysis, or I want to go create some marketing material on it, I can actually hit this Analyze Market button, and it'll push the basic property information, you know, the name and address and stuff, over to our other solution to start that process. So I hit that button, and it's going to bring me right in over to our program here, and this is where we're going to start that stuff, okay? I usually recommend going with the starting with your analysis first and then kind of building your presentation around it, especially if you're going to be looking at like developing like an OM or something. You always want to have that, okay? So what we'll do is we'll kind of switch gears here. Maybe we'll go with a multifamily instead of like a retail or an office, okay, if that's okay with everyone. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and the first thing I want to do is go over to the analysis section, okay? So if I hit that Analyze Market button, it's going to produce just these couple line items here, okay? If I want to, I can fill in my property details, you know, market, sub-market stuff, and that will be carrying over in a later release for us, but these were actually 2 different companies, and so we're still writing the code to integrate those things together. So we started with the basic level stuff, and more stuff's coming on. We also have our resale information over here for you guys as well, okay? So if you want to figure out, you know, resale valuation, you can do that as well, okay? If you guys want to run a loan scenario for your client, maybe you guys are on the buy side of that transaction, we want to show them the best use of that capital, we can come over here and say, okay, well, let's do a fixed interest rate loan, or maybe we want to do a balloon or adjustable. Okay, we want to play around with amortization, closing cost, interest rates, etc. Go ahead and deal with that. If you want to add in their tax information, feel free to do so. We can run their before and after taxes as well. So we go into the income tab, and then we give you 2 ways to calculate your income on this, guys. One is you want to do ultra high level, we do what we call a speed analysis. Okay, check this box, give me your gross monthly income, annual increase, and a vacancy rate. We'll run it off of those 3 figures, right? So maybe you're looking at a P&L. We haven't got a full-blown rent roll yet. We're just going to look at that P&L. This is a great way to do that, Okay. Now, if you do have that full-blown rent roll, we have you covered for that as well. Simply uncheck that box and go ahead and put in every single tenant that you want within there. Or you could do kind of like this modified version I did for our demo, to where on a multifamily, I put in, the one bedroom, one bath, then the number of units, square footage, and what it rents for. But if you were doing like a retail or an office, you would probably go so far as to say, okay, here's, suite 101, and it is John Doe's, widgets, and it's only one tenant at that point, and then what it's renting for, and you can put in all their lease information. Okay. If there's any kind of miscellaneous income on the property, type it in there. Okay. Then what we'll do is the opposite side of income is obviously going to be expenses. We come on over here. Same idea, right? Is the property management company handling this for you? Great. How are they getting paid? If you do carry a note on it, most financial institutions will require some sort of replacement reserves. And depending on their loan policy, it's going to be different, right? They want so many dollars per square foot or dollars per unit or just a flat dollar amount, okay? Then what we can do is we go over to our speed analysis option. Same idea. Just give me those gross annualized expenses, and we'll run it off that along with an increase you want to budget for. If you want to go itemized, simply uncheck that box, and you can fill in your own itemizations here. These are all dynamic fields, so you can type in anything that you want here, okay? Then once we've done that, we probably want to go ahead and just check our numbers real quick. There's no sense of going down the road of creating an OM or marketing material if it's not going to hit our client's objectives. Okay, so what we can do is we can look at anything from our cash flow, our APOD, our IRR. Okay, so look at any one of these things you want, just click on it, and it'll produce like a very similar to like an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, if you hit the numbers that you're looking for on here, then what we'll simply do is just go ahead, hop on over to our proposal tab, and this will help you guys create any kind of marketing material that you want. So you can see in this case, I've only got a couple things in here, so I just want to keep it light, tight, and bright. We put a cover sheet, maybe BOV, a little bio, and then basically what we can do is we can just kind of drag and drop, and we can put whatever we want in here. This is the beauty of the program, is I'm doing two things. I'm determining what content goes into my presentation as well as the order. So these things can be manipulated and moved around in any way, shape, form, or fashion here. All right. So I go ahead, drag and drop, put these things wherever I want them. If I need to edit anything on here, right? So a good example would be if I go and put some property photos, for example. Okay. So I go click on the property photos tab. We haven't uploaded that yet. Well, if I need to upload that information, simply click on it. And then you have the ability to come in here and edit that page. And this is where we're going to upload that stuff. A lot of these documents and stuff within here are editable. So I can come in here like on my pro forma if I want to show current versus market and stuff. If I want to show the upside, so value add deal, we can do that. Okay, so upload those photos, make those corrections to any page that you want. Now, if you spend a lot of time designing these, right, especially like on an OM, right, I got 50-page OM, and I've got demographics, and I've got maps, and I've got all kinds of stuff in there, right? Well, I don't want to have to drag and drop every time I come in here. I just want to standardize that, okay? So you have the ability to template within here. So just go underneath your template. First time you do it, you're going to type in a name, John Doe's template, hit save as template, and it becomes part of your drop down over here. Then next time you come in here, just choose whichever one you want. Click on this retail demo one, hit load this template, and you'll see it pulled all those things out in the exact order that I saved them in. So once we've got that done, it's time to create your material. So we just basically come on over here, click on create proposal, and we give you some options, guys. One is a hit preview and save, and that will generate a PDF for you. Your other option is you can email it directly from the platform here, or my personal favorite on larger documents, what we do is we hit e-publish, okay? What that's going to do is create like a website or a URL for you guys, okay? So this is great because if you have ever tried to send like a really big PDF to someone, sometimes that file size can be too big and it gets rejected from their inbox, or you can't even send it from your outbox because it's too big. Well, how do you circumvent that, right? I don't want you to chop it up into 3, 4, 5 pieces. So what you actually do is you just e-publish it. Now I've got a URL. I just email them the link, right? It's just like emailing them the YouTube video that you just created, right? They click on that link, takes them directly to it. So then what they have the ability to do is they can come and view this online. There's no download, right? They're just viewing like a website. Okay, so they can come through, flip through the presentation. Now you can see this is actually done for Century 21. We do have an agreement with them, but you guys can put in your own custom branding in here. Put in your own like color scheme, logos, etc., and we'll have it match. Okay. The other reason I really like this one is that it has the ability for you guys to have like an interactive table of contents. So for your more savvy brokers or investors, they're probably just going to go straight to the financials. Maybe they're going to go look at that cash flow analysis, or they're going to go look at maybe your investment strategy and look at that pro forma, right? So it allows them to kind of jump around and do whatever they want to do, look at those particular documents in any way they want, and then they can kind of circle back to it, okay? So then what we could do is if they want to save a copy, they come down here on the bottom left-hand side, hit Save as PDF, and they're good to go. Other thing you guys can do is you can create single-page flyers with this program as well. Just click on our Services tab, Flyers, and then we've got a couple different templates in here for you guys, options. We can go hit Highlights, Overview, fill in the appropriate information, upload some of those photos, and hit View Flyer, and it'll generate a one-pager for you. Okay, and it'll look like that. So I'm going to pause real quick there, see if anyone has any questions on our Market Edge solution for the marketing. Don't be shy, guys. No bad questions. All right. I don't see anything in there. Feel free to chime. Oh, all right. Evan has one. All right. Fire away. We do have demographics. So they're light demographics. So you can see right here underneath our demographics tab, you could just drag and drop it in here. I believe we're using Google for this. And so you'll see like underneath the demographics, it's just kind of like your high level stuff, you know, age, race, income, you know, household characteristics, that kind of fun stuff. But it's not like traffic counts and that kind of stuff. We're working on an agreement with a couple third-party data suppliers where we can get a more extensive demographics for you guys. But for right now, this is the extent of it. It'll be later this year. It'll be later this year, Evan. We're talking with a couple different data supply companies right now. We haven't signed any agreements, but it should be coming pretty soon. Is this program part of the basic membership? Yeah, so we're going to go over the different levels of subscriptions that we have here at the end, Evan. So you have an option of any one of these solutions a la carte. You can pay for that on your own, or there is a what we call a RealNex Suite, which will entail pretty much everything that we have here. And we'll go over that here at the end, okay? Great questions. Appreciate the interaction, Evan. So that covers the marketing side. Okay, guys, so we covered using the CRM, building that database, prospecting, right? Searching my database for clients or properties and stuff, keeping track of those projects. Once I have that project, I need to start creating marketing material. We hit that Analyze Market button, pushes it on over here. I can do that financial analysis, create that OM, create those single-page tear sheets, okay? The next step is obviously I need to start pushing that out in front of people. So we've got a couple different ways to do that. One is RealNex has started their own listing service, okay? So comparable to, you know, like a LoopNet, Excelligent, et cetera, we're trying to create that competition in the marketplace. If any of you guys are using LoopNet, you're stroking a pretty big check every month for that. The reason they can get away with it is because they're pretty much the only game in town. So we're trying to produce a competitor to that, all right? So if you guys do nothing else and you don't do anything else with RealNex today, just know that if you guys want to go ahead and search listings or add your own listings on here, that component is absolutely free to the general public. Okay, so feel free to go in there, sign up for a free account, put your listings and stuff out there. All right, but what we've done is we've actually combined not just a listing service, but we also combined an email marketing component to this as well. So we're going to help you push that information out. All right, and again, the idea here is streamline your guys' process, reduce that duplication of effort. So you can obviously come up here and you can list your opportunity. You can put any kind of opportunity you want out there. You can put in, you know, I've got a buyer looking for space, 1031. I've got a listing. I've got a space release, or I've got a tenant looking for space, okay? So put any kind of opportunity you want out there. I'm not going to go through all that. You guys have probably done it like 1,000 times. You'd probably be better at it than I would. But once it's in there, that's where it gets interesting for us. So once you've added that listing, you have the ability to go into your account, click on My Listings, okay? Then what you can do is you can come on over here, choose any listing that you want. If you drop into it, it looks like any other listing, but the couple cool things that we've done is we started integrating this thing with like social media. Okay, so if you guys are heavy on the Twitter or the Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever it is, and you want to start sharing these opportunities, instead of you going in and cutting and pasting pictures and creating hyperlinks, just go click the share button straight from your account with RealNex. Type in a quick note, hey, check out my awesome new listing, okay? And then just hit share, and you'll sign into Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, automatically publish it, and it redirects it back to your listing here. Okay, remember we talked about the link over here for the deal room? Look, I've included that link in here so people can go and register for my deal room and start growing my database, okay? The other option here for you guys, too, is you can actually create email campaigns. So if you go click on this Create Email Campaign tab here, what it's going to do is there's a couple different options for you guys. One is if you're really savvy with like HTML and you want to create your own template, start with our basic one. You kind of have carte blanche to do whatever you want. If you're not that tech savvy, don't worry, we have you covered. Go into advanced customizable templates, and then what you'll be able to do is choose from one of our templates. You'll hit next, but then we allow you to come in here and kind of tweak it. But look what it did, okay? So it pulled all my information that I already put into my listing, right? Name, photos, my summary information, my property description, even that listing link we put in there. It's all included in that email blast, okay? So if I needed to come in here and tweak it, we can. So all I have to do is hit that edit tab, and I can edit that particular box. And we can come over here, and you guys can change the color to whatever you want, okay? Drag, drop, do whatever it is that you want to do, all right? Just hit update. It'll save it, okay? If you want to make that your standard template going forward, all you need to do is come down here, save it as a template. You can come back and use it over and over and over again, okay? So once you've got that all dialed in, you've saved your template, just hit next. You want to proofread it for all those edits that you made, right? I's are dotted, T's are crossed, etc. Then we'll go ahead and hit next again. And then what you have the ability to do, guys, is you can actually go in here and start email blasting your own contacts. Upload your own contact list groups, right? So here are all my investors in a certain geographic region. Here's all my multifamily people. Here's everyone whose name starts with D. It does not matter. It's completely up to you. You create your own groups. Then you target those people, okay? All right, then we just kind of scroll down here, choose when you want to send it out, and then hit finish, and we will send an email blast out for you, similar like a Constant Contact or MailChimp or something like that. And you can send it out. We'll give you the stats and tracking on it. Okay? So then it just becomes a matter of going back into your CRM and documenting all these interactions, right? Someone reached out to me. They saw my listing. They gave me a phone call. What do I need to do? I go back into that project. I document that history and that interaction. I link it to the associated records, and I create the follow-ups. Right? So we've kind of come full circle now. We started by developing the database, prospecting through the database, acquiring projects. Then we would go in and create the marketing material, start marketing that property, and it circles back. All right, Evan, another question. Do we have email list for sale like LoopNet? Well, we don't actually sell anything in here, but there is another option to where you can actually come in and blast our user base. Okay, so we don't provide you with the emails and contact information, but we will send it out on your behalf because every user who comes in here creates a profile. So then what you could do is we do charge separately for this. This is an ancillary item. But what you can do is you can pay per push. So you can pay to push it out to your local MSA, your state level, or even your national campaign. We have different pricing accordingly and stuff to where you guys can actually blast our user network based on their profile settings and get additional exposure that way. Good question, Evan. All right. So you guys are probably all wondering, what is this going to cost y'all? So let me just kind of hop on over and we'll kind of go over that. We do have some options, kind of alluded to it earlier, okay? So anything that you saw today, we can sell you singularly. So if all you're really in the market for is a CRM and you don't really need the marketing component, or you don't need, the email marketing or listing or anything like that, all you wanted was just the CRM. Well, we can sell you just the CRM on its own, okay? And so we have two different pricing structures for everything that we have. We have either an annual plan or a month-to-month plan. It's up to you. It's your discretion. So our month-to-month plan for any single solution is $79 per month per user, okay? You shut it down whenever you want. You don't like it after 3 months, just turn it off, okay? If you want to go ahead and prepay for the year, you absolutely love us, and you would prepay for the year, go ahead and do that. We reduce that cost. We knock $20 a month off of it, but you're going to pay all 12 months in advance. So it's about $708. The reason we show you $59 a month is so we can show you the savings over the month-to-month option. Okay? So you're saving $240 a year by doing that. All right? So then the other option here is we go over to the suite, which includes everything we've shown you, the CRM, the analysis, the marketing presentation builders, the email marketing, the listing, okay? Well, you can get all of that, and it's the same kind of structure, right? So month to month per user is $149 on that, or you can prepay for the year and go $99 a month, okay? But it's actually $1,188 you pay day one, and then you get that discount, okay? So you're saving about a third by prepaying. So you're getting about 4 months for free, all right? And so that's pretty much everything we have here today. If anyone's interested, we do have a little bit of time left over. I'd be more than happy to show you our new mobile app for the CRM. In fact, let me go sync my phone real quick, and I'll give you guys a quick tour of that. All right, here we go. So I got this new software where I can synchronize my iPhone to my computer. So hopefully everyone can see that now, okay? So let's see. I have my little RealNex app. The one that we just launched here is this RealNex Core here, all right? This is phenomenal. This would be a game changer for all of you guys who are on the go all the time, okay? Basically, you get a full-blown CRM and an app on your phone, okay? And it synchronizes back to the online one I just showed you guys, okay? So we're going to give it a sec to synchronize here, but basically my entire database, every document, every interaction, every client, every project, every property is now in my app. Okay, so you can see it's broken down. It's going to be very user-friendly. It's going to be very intuitive because you guys have already used that kind of same process, right? Contacts, projects, companies, property, spaces. Okay, we can even go into our deal rooms. All right, so if I wanted to go pull up my contacts, for example, click on contacts. Right, here's every single contact in my database. I need to go search for them. Go click on the search icon, type in their name. All right, once I found that contact, we have a couple quick options for you guys where I can simply swipe to the left. If I want to go see where he's located at, I can do the map. It'll bring up and drop a pin wherever he's at. I can make a note, right? Make that history record. Click on that for me real quick. All right, so what we could do is we can come over here. I could type in my note about whatever we discussed because I was at lunch. I wasn't in the office, but I don't want to forget about it. It needs to talk about X, Y, and Z. Hit OK, and it's the same process we talked about earlier, right? What was the subject of that interaction? What type of interaction was it? Is it linked to a project? Is it linked to anything else in my database? Okay, hit save, and it's going to do the same thing we just talked about, right? Save this note under every associated record, okay? But the other cool thing is if I want to go in a little bit more depth, I can pull that full power of that CRM right here, right? I can look at everything I need to know about that contact. Phone numbers, email address, company information, right? It's all here for me. If I want to go look at that investor profile that we had talked about at the beginning, right? What types of investments is he interested? Get to know him. Here's everything I need to know about that. If I go down to the bottom, I can see the projects that we're working on for him, the history, the links, and even those files, right? So if I go over to that file, those are the attachments, I can pull it up. So every attachment I've saved online is now viewable via my app. I can click on any one of these, pull it up, view it, load it, okay? Want to see those links tabs? It works exactly the same way, right? So we'll use John again, all right? So I go pull up the records here for him. You can see I've got his brother-in-law, John, right? Right here, the third one down, click on that, pulls up John's record. Works exactly the same way that we were already talking about on the CRM. So this is huge. You're no longer tied to that laptop or the desktop anymore.